Rise in substance abuse prompt review on laws. Parliament adjourned to focus on COVID-19. And Housing Minister condemns illegal deals.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Thursday's news. The Constitutional Law Reform Commission, or CLRC, presented a report today that will review laws on drugs and alcohol abuse in the country. With the rise in substance abuse throughout the country, CLRC Commissioner Dr. Alan Marat said the review has 21 recommendations that targets a legal framework designed to improve policies that are simple and effective. The report was presented to Justice Minister Brian Kramer.
The review started in 2015 under former Justice Minister Ano Pala, and the presentation today concludes a 5-year research that will be presented to government for review and passed in Parliament.
The review came about because of several reasons. The first was the lack of specific policies governing the use of alcohol and drugs. Second was the absence of data on the number of incidents related to the abuse of alcohol and drugs. Third was an increase in the number of media reports about the problems associated with the use and abuse of drugs.
The review was conducted in consultation with 9 relevant government agencies. The 21 recommendations cuts across legal, policy and administrative reforms that is simple and practical.
This report is timely, and the government should be commended for stepping in the right direction to refer this review to the CLRC, especially in light of the fact that alcohol and drug abuse, or put simply, substance abuse, is already a growing national concern that is affecting almost all facets and fabric of our society.
Moreover, this report will now enable the national government to review outdated laws that has failed to capture changing trends in drugs and alcohol abuse, a trend similar to last year's cocaine bust in Central Province.
Massive drug shipment that came into our country. Unfortunately, our drug laws only apply to small offences like marijuana, where the maximum penalty is 2 years. So at the time that law was drafted, no one anticipated what happens when we have a major drug cartel and the shipments of 600 million of basically cocaine that will be used at PNG as a transit, where we would be able to enforce the law. While other countries like Australia, they apply life sentencing as a deterrent to those kind of crimes. And in PNG, the maximum penalty is 2 years.
The review will not only look at penalties, but also rehabilitation of drugs and alcohol abusers. This, the minister says, is important as many youths are victims to this abuse.
And we as a government and as a country need to do more to address this issue of alcohol and drugs abuse, and not just talk about it, not just develop laws where we're going to penalize someone when we don't even have the ability to enforce that law, but also in terms of policy and programs that we can inspire and mentor our young people, and to avoid them taking a path where they're involved in drugs and homebrew. And some of us have seen that firsthand, where they lose their senses and they become a burden on our society.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
The Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Justin Tichenko, says the arrangement between National Housing Corporation and the owner of KC2 is illegal, and they want the matter to be sorted in court. Officers at NHC made a deal whereby KC2 would be given properties in lei to offset NHC's debt with the company. In one instance, KC2 owner Mei Lin purchased a property but wasn't given a chance to move in. Julie Badui Owa reports.
In an interview yesterday with the Housing Minister Justin Tichenko, he said the arrangement to offset NHC debt with state property is an act of corruption and is illegal.
That's why I stopped it. This is what these actions of these other officers were doing. They were illegally trying to compensate for their wrongdoings of previous management by evicting these people and giving these properties away to compensate for the mistakes of the past. That is an illegal action. That's covering up a criminal act and activity.
He was referring to a NHC deal with KC2, a Chinese national company based in Lae. A month ago, tenants from this NHC property at Lae's Common Street were evicted. According to the NHC office in Lae, they were evicted due to outstanding arrears. When asked about the eviction, Lae's NHC boss Andrew Agui said it was an arrangement made by the management in Port Moresby to offer the property to KC2 because they owed the owner Mei Lin money for a property she bought in 2013 but didn't move in.
We're waiting for a management decision to come forward with whatever decision they make. Like I said, there's substantial amount in liabilities to KC2 by previous regime, and it's the prerogative of the management.
KC2 Limited is a Chinese company that was established in Lae in 2015. It's currently operating wholesales, retail stores and entertainment businesses. The owner, Mei Lin, claimed that in 2013, she bought a NHC property under the previous management of John Dege and David Cowper. Lin refused to give the amount she spent and the number of NHC properties that were sold to her.
We pay bank check, online transfer, open receipt, bin receipt, native offer. When we receive the native offer, we pay.
Is that the only liability with NHC, or the other properties as well that NHC owes you all?
Yes.
How many?
I can't tell how many now. I have to get everything actually on the statement.
The statement is very brief. It doesn't really state anything about the number of properties being bought and how much.
Yes, I bought few properties, but up to now we can't even move in.
Few properties, can you give me a number?
I can't tell you the number now. For now, we're talking about one property. We talk about this one property. We see on Spring Court. We are on the Spring Court now. Yeah, for one property. We're talking about one property.
She threatened to take NHC to court after the sitting tenants took the matter to court.
I'm the safari. Whoever pay can't even move in. I need my money back. Or give me the house. That's all.
The information is false, and she actually has nothing to do with those properties that was supposedly sold to her.
He said it is not right for Papua New Guinean families to be affected through such corrupt deals. He added that officers implicated in such deals would be dealt with.
Any officers found selling properties without following the proper procedures of NHC will be sacked and terminated. We can no longer tolerate this sort of actions in a government department, especially the National Housing Corporation.
Meanwhile, the Special Parliamentary Committee began an inquiry into the NHC issues in Lae, Morbi Province.
And is that process transparent? Is that lawful? These are some of the questions that we seek answers to.
Julie Badui, OWA, National MTV News, Lae.
Housing Minister Justin Tichenko says there are tenants occupying National Housing Corporation properties who have rental areas in millions of kina. This is in response to numerous reports of evictions in Lae and concerns raised by tenants. He said NHC evictions are justified if tenants have rental areas or are occupying houses illegally. However, cases involving the eviction of legal tenants will be investigated and addressed.
Minister Tichenko said as a state agency, the National Housing Corporation needs to collect rentals to function. This, however, has been one of the problems faced with tenants not paying rentals. He said if evictions are being conducted based on rental areas or illegal occupation, it is justified.
95% of Papua New Guineans living in NHC properties do not pay their rent. There is hundreds of millions of kina out there still owing to the National Housing Corporation.
For the past 4 years, EMTV Lay has been covering NHC evictions in the city. Most of the stories involve the alleged illegal sale of properties by the NHC and the evictions on tenants due to rental areas. 3 weeks ago, some of these affected tenants met with Lay MP and Minister for Lands, John Rosso, and presented a petition addressed to the Housing Minister.
Number 3, review all the illegal eviction and we come up before, now give him back all the house, go back to all the tenants.
If they are legal tenants and have a signed agreement with NHC, then of course we can work with them and ensure that a suitable outcome is reached. And that's what we are doing with the Minister for Lands and the Member for Lay, Honourable John Rosso.
Minister Chichenko said because some evictions involve illegal occupation of NHC properties and rental areas, each case will be investigated to identify which tenants are genuine and legal.
The investigation process to ensure the right tenants are given the property is very important. There's a lot of con people out there trying to steal properties underneath genuine...
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lay.
The government has commenced a review exercise and a rethink of the 200 million kina disbursements for small and medium enterprises. They will be working in partnership with Internal Revenue Commission to identify well-performing SMEs which can contribute honestly and directly to nation building. Commerce and Industry Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Sam Basil made this announcement today.
Speaking to the media today, the Deputy Prime Minister highlighted the government's plan to review the 200 million kina loan disbursements for SMEs. This is to ensure the loans disbursements addresses SMEs impacted by COVID-19 and those who are contributing positively to nation building.
It is important that the impact and the focus of the loans disbursements addresses not just those impacted by the COVID-19, but those who are contributing honestly and directly to nation building.
In partnership with IRC, the Department of Commerce and Industry have been tasked to identify well-performing SMEs and tax-paying SMEs based on IRC and IPA data. They will also identify the impact of COVID-19 on their tax-paying capacity, the kind of assistance they need, which sector these SMEs are located in, and how many have benefited from loans disbursed by BSP, NDB and DCI grants. The Deputy Prime Minister says this partnership is key to making decisions based on data and not by feelings based on political convenience.
Following this review exercise, I intend to bring an NEC paper that ensures a fairer, more equitable and more strategic way to disburse the loans with clear beneficial outcomes to all.
The Deputy Prime Minister has also directed his department to compile a report on the disbursement of the 200 million kina loan to support SMEs in 2020. He is convinced that the strategies used by financial institutions to disburse these loans are consistent with the government's key priority to support PNG families. He further urged SMEs to be 100% tax compliant to be eligible to access future economic stimulus packages.
So in order to qualify, SMEs must have an existing relationship and positive history of compliance with IRC and Investment Promotional Authority. It's that right, straightforward. I intend to end this funding of overnight sprouting SMEs who don't pay taxes because they don't last and often have their loans conveniently written off.
IRC Commissioner General Sam Koim was pleased with the new focus undertaken by the government. He further explained the new tool designed by IRC to grade and categorize tax-compliant SMEs in the country.
We've actually profiled and we've analyzed the businesses that are in different category and their compliance rating and all of this. A number of work has been done by my staff, but this is a very important announcement, and we fully support and will work with the Ministry for Commerce to make sure that this is happening.
Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. When we come back, the opposition warn of a worsening economy while the government explains the adjournment of Parliament. Those stories and more after the break. Welcome back. The opposition is concerned the debt-to-GDP ratio will continue to increase if the government is not cautious of how it borrows and uses the borrowed money. With the current debt-to-GDP rate at 51%, the fear of the economy collapsing is looming.
Borrowed money must be invested wisely. That is the view of PNC party leader and opposition's candidate for the top seat in the country, Peter O'Neill.
They've borrowed close to 9 billion kina over the last 2 years. Tell me one project that they've done that is stimulating the economy, creating jobs for our people. All they're doing is paying bills.
He says the current debt-to-GDP ratio of 51% revealed by Treasurer Ian Lingstaki is frightening and leaning towards a collapsed economy.
These buggers come and now lift the rate up to 51%. If it goes to 60 and beyond, we will be broke.
O'Neill said when he took over from the Somare government, he had doubled the country's revenue, and despite tough economic climates, the PNG economy flourished.
From 2011 to 2019, that economy was continuously growing for solid 18 years, under very difficult circumstances in some years. Oil prices collapsing, global economy under stress. But we were able to maintain a decent level of growth in the economy so people can have jobs, businesses can continue to prosper.
But he claims that is not the case today.
But in 2019, after the change of government, the economy started taking a nosedive.
O'Neill's view, supported by opposition leader Belden Nama, both question the Pugera deal.
The government has not provided to the nation the full cost of Prime Minister's closure of Pugera gold mine.
Now the Pugera issue will be more challenging than anything else. They have to renegotiate all the landowners, fix all the machinery that's going to do the mining, find more money. It'll cost up to about $1 billion US. So where are we going to get the money to pay for our share?
Other mines in the country.
They've signed agreements with Barrick, but Barrick will not start until after 22. So, and then you look at Wafi Golpu, the agreements are all over the place because Prime Minister and his deputy party leader one is on North Pole and the other one is in South Pole. So they can agree to the terms. Then you look at Pasca. When you have unreasonable demands, the investor says, I shut down and I go. So Twinja just announced that they are leaving. So these are investors with billions and billions of kina. And if you don't handle them properly, they are going to go. So where are you going to get the money to develop this?
COVID-19 funds and management of the pandemic.
Now, none of the government people come to the media or in publicly announcing the facts about COVID. It is spread wide now. Now you can't control it anymore. This is because of lack of management of the government that is responsible.
Our people's health is under threat. And there is a tremendous pressure on limited staff and facilities available in our hospitals. Marape cannot go on a blame game. He had huge funds under COVID funds that was given to him.
And the education sector.
They got no policy on education. Today, 2 million kids who are in schools today are suffering because this government is lost. How to manage COVID and how to manage teachers' welfare, how to manage the curriculum that we have changed. All those things are not being managed well, so our people and our kids are suffering.
Marape said, I will leave no child behind. More than 2.5 million children have been left behind because of bad policy decision by Marape government.
They say if Marape continues to lead the country this way, the country will become a failed state. Shamit Boreambeb, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape says the Parliament adjournment yesterday to 10th August was for the health and safety of Papua New Guineans. Speaking at a media conference at Manasupe House this afternoon, the Prime Minister said this was after Parliament ensured that its required business was concluded, including the passage of the National Energy Act 2020 and the Electricity Amendment Act. In giving a COVID-19 update during the media conference, National Incident Manager Dr. Downey Esteram reported that as of yesterday, PNG has recorded 10,338 positive cases of COVID-19 with 99 deaths.
Despite claims of the government adjourning Parliament yesterday to Tuesday, the 10th of August, to avoid a possible vote of no confidence motion initiated by the opposition, the Marape Basil government said today that the adjournment was purposely for health reasons to focus on PNG's response to COVID-19.
Me as Prime Minister, me as a sleep good, night me try best, sometime me try best, one time Health Minister, now me try best for making work. 1 year come now, me look go back, now me try looking. One up, me play put down long. One up, me play no working good. Now tete or ask long Parliament, me to give me a journey Parliament, Speaker to get journey Parliament, or leaders to get journey Parliament, and for the next 3 months, but me play work want them. This play all provincial governors. Now work want them all as team long all, or try best long ensure him you may address him COVID long one province. Now try to stop him number, not going to go big play yet.
The Prime Minister reflected on Treasurer Ian Ling-Starkey's statement yesterday in Parliament on the state of PNG's economy, saying that COVID-19 is both a fight for the economy as well as a medical fight. He says there are enormous challenges in implementing the 2021 budget and that there are serious shortfalls in revenue collection. PM Marape also highlighted that there are procurement challenges due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which have affected the implementation of key projects which are designed to help stimulate economic activities.
This time around, we wanted to go on a hard shutdown, hard lockdown. But the business side of it and the economy and those in the industries appeal to us. Please, don't shut down hard on us. Now, something that the country must understand is that the health of individual, whilst it may immediately affect the economy, if we go on a hard lockdown, but a long-term effect is that hard lockdown does have its benefit in the medium term and lockdown because we eradicated COVID-19. But if we live with COVID-19, an employee gets down. Productivity is declined because a big chunk of the employees are now tested positive, they're made isolated. And so the natural consequence of uncontrolled COVID-19 into the future will eat into the economy anyway in months and years into the future. So
the Prime Minister also made reference to a situation report presented by Speaker Job Pomat yesterday in Parliament, where it was reported that 42 Parliament staff have tested positive for COVID-19, with members of its leadership infected, in which Parliament has now been declared a red zone. National Incident Manager for COVID-19 at the National Control Centre, Dr. Downey Esteram, gave an update of COVID-19 statistics in the country.
For PNG, as of yesterday, 12 midday, 21 April 2021, we recorded yesterday, with the last 24 hours, 141 new cases. That brings the total cases in Papua New Guinea to 10,338. You will remember that 2 or 3 months ago, we were below 1,000. Over the last 2 months, our numbers have just stayed so high that on Tuesday, we went over the 10,000 mark. At the same time, we also recorded 8 deaths yesterday. And so that brings the total number of confirmed deaths, cumulative deaths in PNG to 99.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited made its third donation of medical equipment to the Port Moresby General Hospital yesterday. With more patients coming in daily, Dr. Paki Molumi, the CEO of Port Moresby General Hospital, says the donation will greatly assist them.
Kumul Petroleum Managing Director Wapu Song presented 20 each of the following items: syringe pumps, infusion pumps, pulse oximeter and digital blood pressure machines, all valued at over 4,000 kina. This will assist PMGH doctors and nurses deliver appropriate health care to the increasing number of COVID-19 patients at the hospital's intensive care unit.
We run a
ICU isolation facility for the COVID-19. And to run such an ICU, it's a highly technical area. You require critical equipments and medical supplies to run an ICU. It's not like any other wards where you see the patient once every hour or every 4 or 6 hours. This one has to be monitored every minute. To do that, we don't have the manpower resource to do so. So we use machines and medical equipments to monitor patients for us.
All this critical equipment is critical in the sense that we are trying to help with making sure that patient care is done from a distance. It's away from the patients, so the health workers that we have are protecting themselves.
Kumul Petroleum announced its support to the country's national response to the threat of COVID-19 early last year. Their previous donations to PMGH included PPEs, cardiac monitors, ventilators, video laryngoscope, and portable X-ray.
But to want to also assure the hospital staff here and the CEO and management and board here that we've committed ourselves to supporting yourselves for 5 years, and hopefully we can fix some of the gaps or meet some of the gaps that exist in service to our people in this area of patient care.
The Chief Executive Officer of Port Moresby General Hospital, Dr. Paki Molumi, says these machines will help mitigate the risk of contracting the coronavirus, especially for frontline health workers, while providing the critical care that COVID patients need. Gertrude Gabi, National MTV News.
Markham Farming Limited under New Britain Palm Oil has donated over 1,000 rapid diagnostic test kits to the Medeng Provincial Health Authority. It is part of the company's efforts to support the health and education sectors. The kits were part of the total of 10,500 test kits bought by the company to be donated to selected hospitals.
In a small but significant ceremony held at the Medeng PH's office, Commercial Manager Charlie Gebai presented the RDT kits to PHA CEO Fidelis Waimpa. The test kits were bought from Australia at the cost of 340,000 kina to be supplied to 7 hospitals, including the company's own clinics.
And so we are actually happy to be donating this, and we are partner with you to help support endeavors, your efforts in getting this COVID under control, especially here in our provinces. We also realize that that's one thing that's not been done is effective testing.
The company's efforts are to assist PHA in getting COVID-19 under control. Gebai explains the COVID-19 data provided may not reflect the real figures due to the inability of PHAs to obtain enough test kits to carry out testing.
Our numbers it could be more than what we probably see now. And without this sort of testing kits, we won't really see the reality of our statistics. So we are happy, the foundation is happy to be given this. It's given to Medeng, here in Medeng, and also to Ramu Agri-Industries Ray. So that's where we have our 2 Medeng-based operations in Medeng.
Medeng PHA CEO Fidelis Waimpa acknowledged the company's support, saying Medeng is a difficult place to work due to its geographical location. Middle Ramurai Coast and Usinobundi districts are isolated with no road access, and it is a challenge for PHA to do surveillance and monitoring in those districts.
We have limitations as well. We have limitations in staffing. We have limitations in everything, such as infrastructure, development, human resource. So with the help of partners, we have several partners who have been very, very supportive to us in Medeng province.
The CEO says most health facilities are aging and partnering with stakeholders is important to provide basic healthcare needs to the people.
We cannot do it alone.
PHA is also planning to equip Gusap Health Center for frontliners to counter COVID-19.
The Gusap is the entry point towards Medeng, and it's the exit point from Medeng to the other approaches. So Gusap is a strategic place where...
Martha Lewis, National EMTV News, Medeng.
Medeng has done 1,561 COVID-19 tests, where 167 of those tested were positive, of which 126 were symptomatic, while 216 hospital staff were also tested, with 43 staff testing positive for COVID-19. 8 were admitted, 2 discharged from the hospital, and 1 confirmed death. The overall statistics for COVID-19 in the country as of yesterday, the accumulative total positive cases is over 10,000, out of which 7,364 have recovered. The death toll is now at 99, with 8 new recorded deaths. 141 new cases have been reported, with over 73,000 tests conducted so far. And now looking at the NAS Fund market reports, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 US in the interbank market this morning. At Bank South Pacific, Kina was buying $0.2775 US, $0.3528 Australian dollars, $0.3822 New Zealand dollars, and 29.37 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee, cocoa, and copra closed higher. Palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading higher, and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues with more stories after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the news. The National Procurement Commission has given its recognition to Jimmy District in Jiwaka Province to have its own procurement committee in place. The Jimmy Procurement Committee members were commissioned in the swearing-in ceremony held this afternoon at the NPC House in Port Moresby.
In a small but yet a significant commissioning of the Jimmy District Procurement Committee, the event presided by Magistrate Gary Unjo began with the signing of oaths. In the absence of District MP Wake Goy, Administrator and Chairman of the Procurement Committee, Lawrence Itali, speaking on behalf of the people of Jimmy District, acknowledged the National Procurement Commission for its recognition. He says this is an important element of management for service delivery.
All members say get 5 years that's all. Now some the procurements, the working bridge notice I'm say take him time so time all member you find him also losing this la program now time the election only goes so projects I go Paul na guy no say number so I'm this like one way forward long this black country now over the district and me and guys him over the local means I was only got one kind problem was a bigger logan this like by Alvin you meal on working plenty work.
Jimmy District Procurement Committee comprises of 5 different members, starting from the top level as Chairman, Finance Manager, Law and Order Representative, Community Representative, and Women Rep. With the Procurement Committee now in place at the district level, all commercial activities, projects, and service delivery will be provided within an amount not exceeding 2.5 million kina.
These committees are very important. Currently, the district administrations and administrators' threshold under the public finance management to expend and acquire and procure services is limited to 500,000. And that sometimes affects on our district administration's ability to procure and deliver impact projects in the district. With the establishment of and the sworn-in of the new district committees, your threshold limit is now increased up to 2.5 million. So by law, you can now procure goods and services at the district level up to 2.5 million.
With the swearing-in of the Jimmy District Procurement Committee, NPC Chairman Kenneth Thompson gave a firm reminder to the committee members to abide by the Procurement Act. This is to ensure that efficient services are provided with transparency. Suli Suli, National EMTV News.
Chair of the New Ireland Provincial Assembly and Governor Sir Julius Chan has commended a recommendation to terminate the Provincial Assembly membership of KVN MP Ian Ling-Starkey and Namatna MP Walter Schnoebelt. Governor Chan says this decision is by law and not politically motivated. In this case, the two open members were absent from 3 consecutive meetings of the Provincial Assembly without the leave of the Provincial Assembly. Chan says both members failed to attend that specific meeting and therefore failed to provide satisfactory reasons for their absence to the Provincial Assembly. The open MPs are yet to respond to this move by the New Ireland Provincial Executive Council. You're watching National EMTV News. Up next in Trukai Sports, the Comores prepare to take on Fiji and sprint queen Toya Whistle goes for her 3rd Olympics. Stay with us for the details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG LNG Comores will be focusing on the media test in June against Fiji, with Comores coach Michael Marum stating there are 60 players to go through for a final list of 18 to play in the test against Fiji.
Another wonderful.
It is World Cup year this year for Rugby League, with a lot of hype around Papua New Guinea's chances after a strong finish to the 2017 World Cup. For Comores coach Michael Marum, he has to rummage through a list of 60 players, which he says will be cut down to 18 players for the upcoming media test against Melanesian rivals Fiji Bati. Port Moresby is set to host the test depending on the COVID-19 situation, which might throw the match back to Australia.
We have a pool of players, over 60 players in positions, both, NRL, ISC football, Super League, that are in that list. So, depending on how they go performing their football all throughout the next couple of weeks, if we are required to pick a side, we will come up with 18 for the mid-season test.
The Comores haven't tasted any rep footy for a year, and it's crucial the team prepares well for the World Cup. The media test will be their first real test heading into the World Cup, with their first match against Tonga, a powerhouse in Pacific Rugby League.
2019 was our last match, so a big challenge for us. Tough pool we're in, starting off with Tonga. So Tonga beat Australia in 2019, so it's going to be tough. But we want to make sure we get the mid-season test preparations out of the way and then go focus on the World Cup, games after that. So
preparations are crucial with trial matches lined up heading into the World Cup, with the Prime Minister's 13 back on the calendar this year as well. Their preparations boosted by the naming rights sponsors' renewal of their contract.
Big boost the team. We now have a major signing yesterday, so our job now is to look for, make sure we prepare well and head into our first match. Hopefully it's a mid-season test and then before World Cup. So yeah, but good to have LNG back on. Sponsors for the Comores this year, next year.
Freli Sukina, Trukai Sports.
Toya Whistle, triple individual gold medalist in the Pacific Games and gold medalist in the Oceania region. Papua New Guinea's sprint queen is set to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics in Texas, United States of America. PNG's sprint sensation departed today, embarking on her 3rd Olympic experience.
Toya Whistle has been in Port Moresby over the last 2 weeks, preparing to leave shores for the United States to pursue a spot in Team PNG for the Tokyo Olympic Games. With the global pandemic impeding sports on all fronts, Toya is relieved she is set to travel and get back on the tracks, this time in the United States.
Well, it's been a wild journey from last year, COVID-19 and everything was going on. I didn't have any competition, didn't run any competition. The last time I ran was back here in Port Moresby, our nationals, and then.
With the USA Track and Field offering avenues to assist athletes who are aiming to qualify for the Tokyo Games, Toya says she has more chances in the US, with more competitions set to commence on Friday next week on the 30th of April.
I missed some few, maybe 2 competitions, but I've got probably another 5 or 6 more to go. But that's many competition is happening in the US than I used to be back in Australia, so they have different colleges. You can go to major one and a small comp. So I think I will get maybe more 10 or 11 competition before the games.
With Olympic hopeful athletes given 2 options by gaining points or qualifying, as set by the International Olympic Committee in securing a spot in the Games, PNG's Golden Girl says she will make the most of her time in the States.
I'm going down to go and get much competition as I can to getting my point, or I can qualify to get into Rio. So that's my goal. So I'm going down right now.
Toya was selected as the nation's flag bearer at the 2012 Summer Olympics Parade of the Nations, and she is confident she will have a 3rd Olympic experience.
It's gonna be my 3rd one. So I won't say it's because of COVID-19 and everything's like all me back. No, things always happen for the reasons, and you need to prepare yourself mentally and physically. You need to be prepared for good and bad both. So for me, I'm looking forward, mentally, physically now. I feel excited and I'm ready to head off.
Unlike her previous travels, this time the sprint queen is a family woman.
My baby is a cute boy. I just talked to him this morning. It's my world, it's my rock, and I have a beautiful partner who support me through those times, and it's always behind my back. When you go through lives, when you find someone to, feels like they're supporting you through those times, and they both back up in Goroka to wish me luck this morning, so I'm ready to go and do my best as I can and come back home safe.
She will be received by her coach Dio Lowry, who is currently based in the United States. Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
And Trukai Sports continues with more after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. This Sunday's main event for the Oceania Fight promotions for the Super Featherweight World Boxing Association Asia title is gaining momentum. On Wednesday, the 2 opponents for the title, Junior Kaukoraka from Papua New Guinea and Roldan Aldea of the Philippines, faced the media on their preparations.
It is set for this Sunday the World Boxing Association WBA Asia Super Featherweight title. Junior Kaukoraka of PNG facing off against his opponent Roldan Aldea of the Philippines. Both men had to drop a few pounds for the bout. The lightweight fighters forced to drop from 62 kg to 59 kg for the bout. The 2 will battle it out in 10 3-minute rounds for the vacant title at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex. Aldea is grateful for his title opportunity.
Thank you for the Asiana Fight promotion for giving this opportunity for this title bout. Thank you so much for being invited here in Papua New Guinea. And I'm ready for this fight. I'm so excited and I can't wait to fight.
The boxer from the Elode gym in the Philippines is a man of few words, but he is more than a handful in the ring. A seasoned boxer who has built his trade over the years. His speed is commendable, winning more than 15 bouts out of the 20+ he has fought since 2012. Junior Kaukoraka in recent years has fought only 2 overseas opponents in the ring, beating each boxer twice. He is hailed as the prodigy of PNG boxing And for him, he is poised to keep the belt on home soil.
Thank you, Lo. Peng family. Lo supporting me, Lo. Preparation lumi lo isla fight. Milatok thank you, Lo. Company lumi me work one time. Keten brothers. Team lumi Starbucks side lumi. Nelson John train lumi na Ipra Montoru. Me pla ready, Lo. Take him up isla title fight. So lilik to ka man. Tok lumi chol. Please come support Lo Sunday. Na Bambla Olympic and belt stuff.
This is the first WBA Asia title bout and is acclaimed by the World Boxing Association Asia.
The first WBA Asia in Papua New Guinea. I hope it's gonna be a good fight because both of them are aiming to win the fight.
Ben Micah, owner of the Oceania Fight Promotions, says that bringing such a caliber of a bout will surely be entertaining.
You will be fully entertained by the show of sportsmanship and fitness that will be explosively exposed on Sunday by our fighters, four at the international level and the others who are fighting in the other card events. So let's give a round of applause to all these boxers that are putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment on Sunday.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
And then on Trukai Sports, the weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Fine weather with some showers later in Port Moresby and Kirima. Cloudy periods with a shower or two in Daru, Alutau and Popondita. In the Mamasa region, mostly fine, although cloudy with afternoon showers developing in Lake Wewak and Vanimo, and occasional rain showers easing to cloudy periods in Medeng. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine, though partly cloudy in Lorengau, morning brief showers, and mostly fine in Kavieng. Partly cloudy with brief afternoon showers in Kokopo and Rabaul, morning rain showers and possible thunderstorms easing to cloudy periods in Buka. And in the Highlands region, morning for clearing into cloudy periods with afternoon showers in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, and cloudy periods with some rain showers in the evening in Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for Thursday, the 22nd of April 2021. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.